From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for the latest Marshall University news and sports, you're watching MU Report.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this third fall edition of MU Report 2018. I'm Denai Belai.
And I'm Sean Lashley. We are a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. We air this broadcast not only on West Virginia Public Broadcasting, but also Network West Virginia and YouTube. Now, on to our top story.
Last fall, enrollment numbers were down from years prior. And although Marshall University has not yet released official numbers this year, the talk about decreased enrollment has made its way to campus again. But the Office of Academic Affairs is trying to keep the numbers healthy.
The goal to increase Marshall's student population to 15,000 by 2021 has been the focus of the university in recent years. One essential way to do this is through effective recruitment.
To move the economy forward for a state, you need more people with college educations. And so this happened in Tennessee when the governor got very heavily involved in higher ed. More people got credentials, and it really dramatically increased moved the economy forward. The state of West Virginia is looking to do the same thing by increasing the credentials of its population.
With the need to increase enrollment, the Office of Recruitment is putting forth many efforts to get people on campus.
One of the things we're going to be focused on is the green and white days, and making those kind of having an academic showcase where every student and parent that comes in gets to meet with the academic individuals on campus.
Dr. Taylor says getting potential students in contact with someone from academics is the best way to increase student interest.
The energy has been very positive so far. Everybody is getting involved. Everybody wants to know what they can do to help. And I think that energy and that enthusiasm and excitement is definitely going to pay huge dividends come next fall. We want to make sure that anybody that shows up walks away knowing Marshall is a place they need to come.
Although it generally takes a full year to see how recruitment strategies are working, Dr. Taylor says he is optimistic and has seen improvement in the number of individuals signing up for events this fall. Denai Belai, MU Report.
As Denai mentioned, Marshall administrators are crunching the numbers to see how many students enrolled this fall. Now, Ryan Murphy explains why those numbers are so important.
It's hard as a mother to go back to school, number one, and then to have to worry about whether or not I'm going to actually be able to finish college is kind of annoying to me, actually.
When school started, administrators estimated a drop in freshman enrollment. That's important to Marshall because enrollment is critical to the school's financial stability. As Marshall's share of state tax money declines, students are inevitably forced to make up the difference.
As a film student, I have to buy lots of supplies, and it's hard to get all of that and still pay tuition. And if they keep raising it like this, then I just don't know what I'm going to do.
The cut in state money is a result of years of cutting from lawmakers in Charleston. Administrators have pleaded with the legislature for a decade to stop the cuts. Unless state money comes in, administrators say they're often forced to turn to tuition hikes, something nobody, not even the people who approve them, want. Ultimately, the fear among students is that only those that can afford college on their own can continue to go.
So right now, I rely on scholarships and grants to pay for my tuition, but if they keep increasing tuition every single semester, I'm not going to be able to graduate, and I only have a couple more semesters left to go.
Shutting doors for students from areas of poverty. Now, of course, that's against the backdrop of West Virginia's already falling number of college graduates, fueling the state's poverty levels even further. Ryan Murphy, MU Report.
Marshall reports an official number to the Higher Education Policy Commission later this month. Marshall is not alone in worrying about declining enrollment. Schools across West Virginia are often losing students or fighting to keep what they have. Experts say that's partially due to changes in state's demographics and partially due to the rising cost.
Now, an unexpected confrontation right here on campus. The Native American Student Organization challenged a jewelry vendor outside the Student Center this week. As Adam Stevens reports, the group says it's all about the jewelry itself.
Do you own the world? Do you own the world?
There was controversy on Marshall's campus this week when a jewelry vendor on the Student Center Plaza was accused of cultural appropriation.
This is just another example of someone taking advantage of Native people.
Unless he's affiliated with someone who's Native, he cannot sell those. Even if they were made by Native people, if they're not profiting from it, which he has stated they're not, then he has no reason to sell them.
Members of the Native American Student Organization were on the plaza to celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day when they noticed a vendor selling jewelry that they say is Native American and should only be sold by Native Americans.
He's selling items that are culturally appropriated, meaning that the items are Native items that he as a white male is selling and has no ties to Native ancestry as well as Native people.
The vendor says the jewelry is not Native American and that he has every right to sell the jewelry despite objections.
Nothing is Native American. In fact, it's not even real turquoise. So I don't know, the Native American Association is just being super hypersensitive. They saw turquoise and they wanted to make a big deal about it. And they saw a Dreamcatcher earring and they said that it's Native American and I'm making fun of the Native American culture by selling Dreamcatcher earring.
Campus administrators tried to get both sides to come to an agreement. However, the vendor declined to stop selling the jewelry that was accused of being Native American.
They just saw me doing business and it came down to jealousy. That's all it came down to. They don't care. It's not anything that they take to heart. They wanted to make trouble and they caused it. I could have taken my turquoise tray down and continued with my sales, but it's principle. I know I'm in the right, and I would rather leave this campus. I'm not going to be able to come back, and that's okay with me.
We just keep getting the short end of the stick. We're invisible to most people, and when we raise our voices against stuff like this, like cultural appropriation, we're told that we're being overly sensitive, that we don't own particular things.
Adam Stevens, Emmy Report.
Now we change the subject to reading, or more appropriately, forbidden reading. Marshall celebrated so-called Banned Books Week at a time when the free flow of information is being challenged by government. The event highlights books some consider controversial as a way of advocating ideas instead of censorship.
Banned from speaking our truth, banded together for strength.
From September 23rd to September 29th, Marshall University libraries observed Banned Books Week, an annual awareness campaign that highlights challenged books and authors and celebrates a person's freedom to read what they want.
I think it's everyone's personal choice, what they choose to look at, what they choose to read, and what they choose to take into their minds.
This year's theme was Banning Books Silences Stories. Speak Out.
I don't like censorship. I think that, books and ideas, opinions that they have should be open.
Local authors Elliot Parker and Marie Manila both gave presentations at the John Deaver Drinko Library on the issues they see with censorship.
I think when we look at censorship and I think we look at banned books, one of the things we need to keep in mind is that part of the reason we read books and part of the reason that we look to literature is so that we can expand our horizons and we can look at new problems and new situations either in old ways or new ways.
According to the National Assessment for Adult Literacy, 14% of American adults possess a below basic literacy level.
The rates are pretty terrible in a way. We would always like to see those rise, but luckily as librarians and educators, we can help to raise those rates.
I think people are reading. It's just what are they reading and where are they getting the reading material from? That's really a huge issue. The students I work with are reading, and they read all the time, but they read on their cell phones, they read on their laptops, they read on their iPads.
As we move forward through this age of information, it's important to consider both where we have come from and where we're going. But to quote LeVar Burton, you don't have to take my word for it.
Now we turn to a topic that's bothered Marshall event planners for some time: how to keep the campus population in Huntington for the weekend. Many who live in the residence halls go home to visit friends and families. And as Larry Lonstein Jr. reports, that means campus frequently empties on Friday.
College students, whether they come from near or far, want to spend some quality time with family and friends as often as possible. So many of them leave campus for the weekend and return on Sunday. A look at the parking lot across from Twin Towers shows that a lot of students are still on campus and few parking spaces are available. But come Saturday, there are a lot of spaces to be had.
I'm going home this weekend to see some family. I decided that this is the best weekend I can do it where I don't have any tests or any pressing school.
But there are many activities on campus and in Huntington to meet people and make new friends. This effort is being spearheaded by the university and the City of Huntington.
The Campus Activities Board here on campus, and they do a really great job at reaching students. They put on a wide variety of events throughout the school year. Some of the ones that they're known for are their DIY series that are hosted on the evenings throughout the school week. Marshall After Hours, which is hosted on the weekends. It's a late night series where we take over different buildings on campus to give students a late night option rather than just going home.
And then coming up, actually, for that first weekend in October, or the second weekend of October, is Pumpkin Festival in Milton, which is just a short little drive down the interstate. Another incredible festival. It lasts over 4 days. There's lots of arts and crafts, and again, great food options, and one of the biggest pumpkins you'll ever see.
Although there are many student activities designed to help encourage people to stay on campus, many people still want to go home.
The issue of drug use certainly hits close to home for many people in the Huntington community, but as Olivia Zarilla reports, there are always people willing to lend a helping hand.
In 2013, West Virginia was the leading state in babies born dependent on drugs, with an average of 33.4 per 1,000 births, more than 5 times the national average according to the CDC. Last year, that number was 50.6 per 1,000 births.
I think it's very important to support these causes, and specifically, when they say they're for a specific organization, keep the money here in the tri-state.
It's for that reason the Strike Oppose fashion show and gala brought together community volunteers to raise money for Lily's Place, a nonprofit that provides medical and therapeutic care to infants born with opioid addictions, in addition to family counseling services.
About 40% of our budget is made up of development causes. So all the money raised here today will go directly back in to operating our facility.
In addition to a monetary donation from ticket sales, Lily's Place received all entertainment tips from a drag show featuring numerous volunteers and the event's coordinator, Miss Huntington Pride 2018. However, some people say the event provided more than just a monetary necessity.
We can relate to one another no matter what our culture, our background, or history. We're able to relate and be like, yeah, I've been through that. Yeah, I did that. And you're willing to help, and I appreciate it. So it brings us together closer as a community, even though we don't come from the same culture or background.
According to the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, the number of West Virginia babies born with a drug addiction is not slowing. But LaFontaine says that pageantry and Miss Huntington Pride are not just about a pretty crown, and she will continue to advocate for Lily's Place as her community platform.
We give back to our community. We give back to the people that give to us to make us better. We give back to them. If we all work together, the world would be a little better place.
And aside from the community joining together to provide hair, models, clothing, and support for the event, Strike Oppose was also completely funded by donations from local individuals and businesses. Olivia Zarilla, MU Report.
Lily's Place takes care of opioid-addicted babies and has counseling service for families. That's all the time we have here for this edition of MU Report. Our newscast is completely generated by students at the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. MU Report is a television lab, and we're glad you're watching.
You can always catch this newscast on YouTube, and be sure to follow our reporters on Twitter and MU Report on Facebook. I'm Sean Lashley.
I'm Denai Pillai. Have a great day. I'm sorry.